Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to my studio. This is Paint with Lovejoy. Thanks so much for joining me today, and thanks for painting. In today's video, we are going to paint a pit bull, and his name is Squirt. He is up for adoption from Labs and Friends. Hopefully by the time you are watching this, he has already been adopted and found his forever home. But if you would like to adopt him or maybe another animal, check out the link below to Labs and Friends here in San Diego, California, and see their available dogs that are looking for their homes. But either way, this is a nice tribute that I'm doing for him. This painting, the final, will actually go home with him when he does get adopted, and hopefully they will enjoy it as much as you guys enjoy painting it. So what you're gonna see in this video to paint this painting, along with my other videos, there's a link below to a supply kit. And that supply kit is everything that you need for this particular painting. All your brushes, your colors, and even your surfaces that you need to get started. So check that out, see what you need to acquire, and grab those things. And then move on to the next step. And the next step is a traceable. And a traceable is a way for you to get this initial image, this initial composition on your canvas before you even start painting. And for my first time and beginner painters, this is a nice tool to utilize to take out some of that stress at the beginning and already have something kind of established on your canvas. So check that out. One of the other things that you're gonna see on this video, and it'll be a second video to kind of add extra flair, extra colors to your painting, and it's a bit more of my traditional style that I paint in. All right, so as you paint today, I want you to relax, especially if this is your first time painting. It takes a lot of courage to paint at home, so I commend you. I'm proud of you. Don't stop, keep painting. You have permission to go outside the lines. You have permission to get sloppy. You have permission to get expressive. What you're gonna find is that while you paint, you're so focused on your painting that you kind of forget that the rest of the world's out there. And that's the point of painting, especially in this stressful world. So be kind to yourself as you're going through the process. Anytime you get frustrated or it gets to be too much, just take a deep breath and then keep painting. I want you to finish this and then be able to look back and check everything out. So, all right, enough talking. Let's go ahead and paint Squirt. And hopefully he will be adopted by the time you guys watch this video. So let's get started painting. All right, guys, I hope you're ready to paint. This is a really cute little pit bull. So hopefully you've got all your supplies together, and turn on your favorite music and just get kind of comfortable. We're gonna have fun for this session. As always, make sure you take your progress photos. And once you have transferred your traceable to your canvas, we're gonna be taking the small pointy brush, black paint, and you can actually mix a little bit of water in with that black paint to kind of help make it a little more fluid for you. And we're gonna go over all those lines. And as you do these lines, I really just want this to kind of be practice for you so you get comfortable with the brush. So if you happen to make some lines that are skinnier than others, maybe you see the texture of the canvas, don't worry about those too much. We are going to repeat this step at the end and kind of cover up all that, all those sections, all those areas. So again, this is just a really good place for you to warm up. For my beginner and first time painters, like I said, don't stress about this. All right. So as you're painting, and especially if you're a first time painter, I want you to mind the pressure of the brush. The harder you push your brush against the canvas, the wider the line it's gonna make. So as we're doing this, just again, play with that pressure. You're developing a comfort level for the tools, your brushes, and using the paint and applying it, and you will get better the more that you do this. All right, if you do need practice with that liner brush, that long skinny brush with those long hairs, you can practice this section with that brush as well. Because again, you're just playing with that pressure and getting your comfort level with your tools. All right. And if you notice that you are holding your breath right now, please take a deep breath, laugh at yourself for a little bit, smile, and keep on painting. On this one, you can actually see that I did change the shape of the nose a little bit, or of the nostril, probably compared to that Traceable. So if you end up kind of changing the shape of something that I make today in this painting, or adding something that I don't put in there, that's okay, because as you paint, I want you to trust your instincts. So again, if you are inclined to do something that I do not do, go ahead and give it a try. If you end up not liking it later, you just let the paint dry and paint right on top of it. So acrylic paint is an excellent medium for beginner painters to kind of find comfort and kind of have a way to not necessarily fix mistakes. You know, Bob Ross had it right. They are happy accidents. But a way for you to try something and then adjust if you don't like it. So again, just relax. Hopefully any stresses or frustrations from the day or the week are just kind of sliding by as you get into this process. And that's kind of one of the beauties of painting, is just relaxing and forgetting where you're at for a little bit. You're doing good. If you end up maybe skipping a few of these wrinkle lines, don't stress. And again, as you're working around the eyes, mind the pressure of that brush. Try to go with a light pressure to keep a skinnier line. When you get to the pupil, you are going to fill in that whole pupil space, leaving a little bit of that kind of white area, that catch light. If you happen to paint over the catch light, we will reapply that catch light at the end of the painting. So again, just you could layer on top of it if you cover up anything today. All right, doing a good job. Just relax. Just the fact that you showed up and you're painting, that is wonderful. It takes a lot of courage to paint at home by yourself. If you can do this with a friend, that much more fun for both of you, and then you get to learn kind of together. A lot of things we get to do with friends just make it a little bit better. I think it's a lot of the laughter that gets to be involved. All right, so pause the video, take your first progress photo, and we're going to be moving into the background. And that part that I kind of reshaped in that thick black line, I will be covering that up with the background color. So again, anything that you don't like, we just paint on top of. So we're going to use a light teal, or your light aqua color. And we're using that medium flat brush, or small flat brush. And I actually just took a chunk of that teal and just mixed it in with my blob of white on my plate. And I didn't mix it in all completely crazy, so there's still some little color separation. And even here, I did not wait for my black lines to dry. And you can see where I picked up some of that black when I went over it. And then just kind of applied it a little thicker. I'm going to go back with some darker shades on that. So if you are like what I did in this video and didn't wait for your black lines to dry, just be kind of cautious of coming up right up next to those black lines. And if you do pick up any of the black paint, you can either wipe off your canvas and reapply your background color, or just apply more of your background color and kind of blend that black away. I would recommend wiping it off first. It'll be less stressful doing that. If you are working on a larger canvas, feel free to use a larger brush than what I'm using. I'm only on an 11 by 14 canvas. And if you are on a canvas, and as you reach the edges of your canvas with your background color, feel free to carry that color over the sides, over the tops, the bottom, and the left and the right. It does look really nice when you hang your final piece on your wall, having that color wrap around the edge of your canvas. So here I grabbed a little bit more teal, going a little bit darker as it goes up. This is your painting. You can choose any background color that you like and kind of any variation. So again, just kind of play, get expressive. I want you to embrace your inner 5-year-old. And if you're 5 years old doing this video, just do what you're doing and be creative. All right, so again, as you're working on your background, the pressure of your brush makes a difference. The more you push your brush against the canvas, the more those brush strokes will show up. A lighter touch, and you can get a bit of a smoother finish. I prefer a bit more of an expressive brush stroke effect, and you will see that in many of my videos. But if you like more of something smooth, work on that. Get comfortable with laying your paint on there kind of thick and then smoothing it out. And here you can see that I'm kind of taking that color and blending it into my lighters. It's kind of a back and forth process. Play with it. Add some lighter colors, add some of your darker shades, and play with the gradient, the color in between the two. And here you can see that I grabbed some of that straight teal and just painting right on top of the background. And you notice that it mixes with the shade or the background color underneath. This is called a wet on wet blending method. All right, so pause the video, take your progress photo, and we're going to be moving into the fur on our Pitbull here on Squirt. And he has shades of dark gray. So we are going to be starting with our dark gray first. So I actually pulled some black aside and added some white. Still using that small flat brush. And we're going to be making little dots that overlap each other. They can be little dash marks. But we're going to be creating larger shapes. And we're working from our darkest spaces and working backwards. So again, for these videos, you want to utilize the pause section and use your power of observation. Take a look at the shapes that I make with these colors and do your best to kind of mimic it. If you end up making the shapes larger or smaller than what I paint, completely okay. All right, it's almost like a butterfly on his forehead there, or an X mark. All right, and again, if you feel like putting this color in a place that I don't put it, go right ahead, give it a try. That's how you're going to learn. If you have to make your shade of dark gray again, don't freak out about it being the exact dark shade. You will get more comfortable and better with your mixing the more that you do this. You're doing good job. If you find that you are holding your breath right now, please laugh at yourself a little bit and take a deep breath. This is just painting. I don't want you to take it super seriously. And you're already off to a great start just by showing up today and painting. And one of the cool things with our progress pictures, especially for this guy, it's going to look so much better by the time we fill up all the white canvas space. So keep painting. Don't stop until you're done. If you want to maybe do a black Pitbull or a tan dog or even a white Pitbull, feel free to switch out any of these colors to different shades of brown, different shades of light gray for the white Pitbull, different shades of light tan. But again, even if you want to go kind of funky, crazy colors, maybe you use shades of purple or shades of blue. Get expressive, get crazy. It's actually a lot more fun than you think it is, and you are much more creative than you realize. So you have permission to be expressive. You're doing a good job. We're filling up that space and creating value. That's really what you're doing right now. We're going to be making 3 different shades, a dark value, what we're painting right now. Then we're going to have a mid-tone color, which will be our medium gray. And then we're going to have a highlight value, which will be our lighter gray. And again, if you're switching out colors to be a different tan or white dog here, you're still looking for your dark shade, a middle shade, and your highlight. As we get into some of these smaller spaces or tiny little dots that I'm making, if you need to switch to that small pointy brush, go right ahead. If you feel like doing this painting, this entire thing in finger painting, go right ahead and do that. Please send me a picture of what you create. I'd like to see that. All right, so pause the video, take your progress photo, and we're actually going to make a lighter gray now, kind of a medium gray. And you can see here where I actually just start from the color we were just using and add more white. It's kind of a nice, what we call palette maintenance. Nice way for you to just kind of shift down or up a shade or two from the color you were just using. And without realizing it, as you do these videos, you are developing some good painterly habits. So when you take other classes or watch other videos, take the parts that you learn here and implement them in the other videos, and then take what works for the other videos, what works best, and keep moving. You're building your kind of knowledge, your database of your creative efforts. So on this painting, and really any of the paintings, if you are painting at a very fast pace and your first color is still a little bit wet as we move into the next color, feel free to kind of blend the two as they meet. Still kind of that same wet on wet blending method that we did in the background, but on a slightly smaller scale. If you're painting at a slower pace and each of these layers dries before you get to the next one, that just is part of your style for this painting. And it does give it a bit of more of a kind of a cutout or even pop art feel, which is really popular in this day and age. Everybody likes those funky shapes and colors. And we call that style. Even if you may not like it, other people are going to just kind of freak out about how awesome you painted something. So we all are our own worst critic, myself included. So be kind to yourself as you're going through this process. Like I said, just showing up and painting is half the battle, so you are already successful. Okay, so here you can see that my paint was still wet, so I did blend in that shoulder. I'm going to do it on both sides. So again, feel free to do that to your painting, or maybe you're going at a pop art stylized version. And this particular painting, I will have a second video after this. It'll be a rather short one. But if you would like to add some funky colors on top of your painting, I will go through my process of adding, I guess what we can call flair on top of Squirt's painting. And this painting will be going back to Labs and Friends to be displayed with him and go home with Squirt whenever he gets adopted. I do hope that by the time you are watching this video, especially years from now, that Squirt has had a good life and has been adopted by a wonderful family or owner, somebody that's going to take good care of him. If you're interested in adopting a dog here in San Diego, check out the link below for Labs and Friends, and do adopt rescue dogs instead of going to a breeder, because there are so many animals that need homes. And our nonprofit rescue organizations do a really good job of taking care of their animals and finding homes for them, at least the ones that I'm associated with in San Diego. hopefully the ones in your area are doing just as much good for the animals. All right, so pause your video, take a progress photo, and then we're going to move into a lighter shade of gray. And if you end up mixing your gray on your plate and then you apply it to your canvas and it's either not light enough or not dark enough, feel free to adjust your color. And you'll notice that as you paint more, you'll end up doing that quite a bit, because it may look one way when we mix it on our plate, but then when we put it next to our colors on our canvas, it is interpreted differently. So that's a little bit of color theory that you get to witness as you paint. We interpret our colors based on the color that's right next to it. All right, so I mixed an even lighter shade of gray. And again, still kind of working from the pile that I was just using and stepping down from that color. At any point, feel free to utilize the pause button to pause it and see the shapes of the particular shade that I am adding. Even if you're not prompted by my pause section, you have permission to pause it as often as you need. And again, we kind of have the light coming from that right-hand side, so just trying to keep a bit more of his right-hand side of the body a little bit lighter. And going back to one of the darker shades of gray as I work on this left side of his face, or the left side of his muzzle. Take a deep breath. You're doing a good job. Hopefully you're more relaxed now than when you started painting, or more relaxed than you were a couple hours ago. Any stress or frustrations that you have, just kind of put it into the brush strokes, put it into that movement. Pause the video, take a progress photo. Now we're going to go back to a darker gray as we fill in more of the spaces. And that was the black with a touch of white for dark gray, our shadow value. And we're filling in that gum line, getting kind of that darkness in there around the tongue. We will put some lighter shades and some teeth on top of this. Then we're going to fill in some of the nose area. And here I went back to that medium gray. And with kind of doing that gradient on our plate, it makes it easy to go back and grab any of those shades that we might need. Again, just good painterly habits that you are starting from the beginning of your exploration. All right, and as we paint today, get out of your chair every now and then, walk to the edge of the room, turn around, look at your painting, go about 10 to 20 feet away and look at your painting from a distance. All right, so now we're going to go to white. We're going to get some of his white chest there. And it may be kind of funny just painting white paint on top of white canvas, but we're kind of getting a base on there, and then we're going to get some light gray for a few sections for shadows. But at least we're getting something on the canvas, that way it will be fully covered. All right, doing good. We're almost to the underpainting. You're doing a great job. All right, so kind of going back to that light gray. Here we go. We paint right on top of that white, just in a few little shadow areas underneath his jaw and kind of the edges to where that white fur meets the darker gray fur. Again, trust your instincts as you're applying this. All All right, so kind of making that medium gray again. And then we're going to add a touch of red. So we're going for really dark pinkish gray. And this is going to go on the inside of the ears. Again, your medium gray with a touch of red. Using little dot marks and overlapping them to fill in that space. And then again, I'm going to add just a touch more red. Just a few little dots in there that's a little bit darker. Gives it slight variation. And it's some of those subtle things that our eye picks up without realizing it sometimes. All right, so now we're going to go for a light pink. So I'm going to pull some white aside. Tiny amount of red goes a long way in the white to make our light pink. And this is going to be our tongue color. We're going to fill that whole space in. If you happen to paint over that black line in the center, we will reapply it. All right, you're doing good. Smile at your painting, smile at Squirt. Hopefully he's real happy in his new home once he gets adopted. And he does look like a Pitbull that would like hanging out with kids and just having a lot of fun. All right, so we're actually going to grab some of that grayish pink that we were using inside the ears, and we're going to paint right on top of the light pink of our tongue. And you can see here I'm just doing little dots. It is picking up some of that initial light pink and blending together. So we're just doing little dots and kind of softening that area. And then I'm taking that light pink, it's kind of a grayish pink now, and going right on top of the gum line to give a little bit of a distinction between the folds of the gum line and some of the reflective qualities with it being so moist. And again, we're painting just right on top of that dark gray in the gums. All right, he's looking cute. All right, so I'm going to grab that small pointy brush now. I'm going to grab some of that medium gray with a little bit more red and adding again a bit more red. And we're still layering on top of that gum line. So we have a few shades on here. Again, if you overlap some of the other colors, it's okay. We're going to put a little bit of this darker gray again at the back of the mouth on top of the tongue. Not quite sure why I put it in the ear, but for some reason at the time I felt like it. Again, if you want to add pink to anywhere around the eyes, underneath the nose, you can add more. All right, so now we grabbed a small pointy brush, some pure white paint, and that tongue is still wet. So I'm putting that pure white paint on the right-hand side and the bottom of the tongue. And as I move my brush, it is mixing with that lighter pink. So again, kind of play with that blending. If you need to, you can apply that white paint and then wipe the paint off your brush and use a dry brush to kind of blend that white into the lighter pink. All right, so clean your brush. We're going to grab the burnt sienna for the eye color. If you want your Pitbull to have, hazel eyes or green eyes, feel free to change the color to whatever you like for the eyes. But Squirt had beautiful brown eyes, dark brown eyes, so he's getting the burnt sienna. And again, we're filling that outside of the pupil area, leaving that white dot, the catch light. If you paint over the catch light, we can reapply it after we do our black outlines again. All right, Squirt's looking really cute. You're doing a great job. Very happy dog here. All right, we've got that little left corner
of the eye. Yeah, just grabbed a light gray, just again, so that way we have something on the canvas in every area. I'll probably shave this. All right, so pause the video, take your progress photo, and we're going to go back to black paint, small pointy brush, and we're going to redo all those outlines. Again, the pressure of your brush affects the width of your line, and you can always reference your traceable for what the lines are again. Around the eyes, I am using very light pressure to keep a skinny line as I outline the eye sockets and redo the pupil. And then for most of the other lines that we'll be doing, I do make them a little bit thicker, so that way they overlap some of the background and some of the fur on our dog. Make sure you are still taking deep breaths and relax. Again, every now and then as you paint, get out of your chair, walk about 10 feet away and look at your painting from the distance. When you take your progress pictures and you look at it on your cell phone screen, it's the same thing as looking at your painting from 10 to 15 feet away without getting out of your chair. So another reason why the progress pictures are so important, and it's a good tool for you to utilize as you are painting. If you do want to go crazy colors, consider maybe switching out this black paint and maybe instead you use red or yellow, and really make it kind of a funky style. Nice, you guys are doing a great job. He's looking cute. So as you're painting, hopefully this is not your only painting you do this year. I highly recommend that you find a way to paint at least once a month. It is so stress relieving and needed, and utilize the other videos that I have on my YouTube channel. Check out other artists that are creating tutorials. Check out your local art classes, but find something to do once a month that's creative and that either you do by yourself and it's just your time, or maybe you and a couple of friends do it on a regular basis. But we live in a really stressful world. We have high demanding jobs and families and relationships and travel and a whole list of other things that you need to give yourself permission to just relax. And if you can find it through painting, you're really lucky. And again, you just get better the more that you do this. And pretty amazing how by adding these black lines, it just really kind of brings the composition together. Certain things pop. Certain things make a little bit more sense. And again, remember how white that canvas was when we started? You've come a long way. Nice. Smile at your painting. Squirt's appreciating all the love and attention he's getting from this video and hopefully from his new home that he's been adopted into. If I do find out that he gets adopted, I will make sure I put that information or that confirmation in the description box below. And I think I'd kind of like to make this a trend where I can either paint and do a tutorial for a lot of the rescue dogs that have been in the shelters for a long time. I don't know how long Squirt has been at the shelter or been in his foster family. But it's nice when they can find their forever homes. Or even become a foster failure and that family ends up adopting them. Either way, as long as they're all in good, healthy, loving homes. It's what we want for all our animals and our kids and family members. Nice. If you end up adding some lines for some wrinkles or other areas where I don't add them, like I said, trust your instincts. I think I may have added a few extra lines in there, those little smile lines. I like it when dogs look like they're smiling. Alright, so you're going to clean your brush really good. We're going to go back to our pure white paint. We're going to put some highlights on Squirt. And if you need to reapply your catch lights, this would be the time to do it. And I'm pretty sure I reapply them here. So for teeth are basically just kind of a dot or a little kind of rounded rectangle. So using that small pointy brush, just kind of place it where the tooth is and then push that brush against the canvas. Give it a little bit of texture and just use kind of the width of the brush to make that tooth shape. And again, we have the light coming from the right-hand side. So we are going to put quite a few highlights, pretty heavy-handed, with that pure white paint right on top of the lighter grays and that medium gray. This will be one of those things that it may seem too much right up close in front of your canvas while you're painting, which you're about 2 feet in front of it, compared to when you view your canvas from that 10 to 20 feet away. So after you do a few of these, maybe take that step to the back of the room so you can kind of see it from that distance and see that it doesn't seem so high contrast of white from that distance. And if you feel like placing this white in a few other areas that I do not, go ahead and do that. And then look at it from a distance and see if you still like that. You can always paint on top of it. You can always add more. But again, as you paint this and paint other paintings, you're developing your kind of creative eye, your painter's eye on how you look at things. And hopefully next time you look at a piece of art or open up a magazine or look at a photograph, you might start going, oh, there's the shadow, there's the highlight. And that's because you are painting now. You're going to start seeing the world in a just slightly different perspective. And that's really all art is looking at the things that we look at every day from a different angle or a different perspective. I'll put a few little highlights in his gum line and along his jawline on the left-hand side and above the nose. And then here we are redoing those catch lights if you need to. And again, it's kind of half on the black pupil and a little bit on that brown eye color. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for painting with me. I hope you really like how your paintings turned out. And I'm honored that you took time out of your day to paint with me. I look forward to painting with you in the future. Have a great day. Cheers.
Hey guys, I hope your paintings of your Pitbull turned out really cute. Please tag me in your photos as you're uploading them to social media. Paint with Lovejoy, the Information should be popping up on the screen. I want to see your progress. I want to see the directions you take it in. And I want to just kind of see how much fun and how much you're evolving with your creative style. Like I said earlier, it takes a lot of courage to paint at home, so you should be very proud of yourself. I'm proud of you. So proud of you that I hope you keep painting. Check out my other videos, subscribe to the channel. Any comments, questions, things that you want me to paint in the future, leave those in the comments below because I take that into consideration when I'm making new videos. Really hope you had fun. I'm honored that you painted with me, and I look forward to painting with you in the future. So have a great day. Cheers. We're home. Hopefully the freaking planes will give me a break. I'm gonna wait for the plane.